Hi everyone, my name is Mason Bell and I'm here today to perform the first integration test for Team Stratus. Today's test is the GridMon wireless communications test. Just a quick overview of our product. GridMon is an energy meter that aims to address the concerns of traditional cable complexity. We're doing this by enabling our device with wireless communications. So today's integration test is here to prove that we are able to integrate our wireless module with our final MCU such that we can provide wireless device data output to a server endpoint. So a couple steps to prepare you for the test. We'll be supplying a zip file which will include the TCP test endpoint as well as the archive file for the firmware project. The next thing that you would do would be to open Simplicity, and you would have to import the project. However, we've requested that you navigate to the Wi-Fi configuration file, and you need to provide your SSID and your network password here. From that point, you could save and build the project, and it will create a binary here for you. So we're not going to walk through this completely here right now, but the next step would be to deploy this set of firmware to the device. If you watch this video, which will also be linked in the description, it will walk you through the bootloader deployment where we essentially use an FTDI cable to deploy our firmware over a serial communication to our device. Our hardware has already received the set of firmware required for this test, so we don't need to walk through that step right now. The next step is to open two different terminals. You can see these here. The next step is to locate the TCP test endpoint script, which is in that zip I sent, and then you would prepare terminal 2 to launch that server. Okay. And then finally, you want to locate where the Excel sheet will be populated in the File Explorer. This is going to be in the exact same location that you run the TCP test endpoint script out of, so I'm just leaving this folder open on the side here. We're going to kind of want to keep an eye on that and see that our Excel sheet is indeed populating into there. So now moving into the actual test itself, the first step is to launch the TCP test endpoint in terminal 2. And the expected result is that we see that the server is active and ready for connections. So the next step is to power on the GridMon system. We'll do this by supplying 3.3 volts to the power pins. The expected result here is that we see the green LED on. It will stay solid during boot and then blink throughout operation. I'm going to explain the next 3 steps here as it all kind of happens in a continuous flow. However, we want to be ensuring that we have the correct firmware deployment on our device, which will be indicated through 4 red blinks on the deployment LED. And then after roughly 5 seconds, we're waiting for the red LED to turn solid, indicating that we've reached our TCP test endpoint. And then in step 5 here, we're waiting for the red LED to turn back off, as well as looking for terminal 2 to notify us that the test is complete. So between steps 4 and 5, this happens pretty quickly, so it looks like more of a blink. So we will go ahead and move into that now. All I'm going to do for our purposes is supply power from the power supply. So I am turning it on. You'll note that the green power LED is on and we are getting 4 blinks on the red deployment LED. And now we are waiting for the red LED to flash on and then off, indicating that we have reached the server endpoint and we've relayed our data. Also, if we look at terminal 2 here, we can see that data has been received and the test is complete. You should also note this IP address right here, as that's the IP address of the GridMon device. So the next thing that we're doing is we are going into terminal 1 and we are running the ARP-A command to confirm that our device is on the network. This command basically lists all of the connected network devices, their IP addresses, and physical addresses. We're looking for a physical address that matches our GridMon device's physical address, which I've noted in the test sheet here. and we can see that right here. We also want to note that the IP address matches that was found in the TCP connection server. So the next thing that we're looking to do is to open the GridMon Wi-Fi CSV. So you'll see here that the Excel sheet was populated into our folder. So we're going to open that up, and it indeed has been created and populated. And then the final step is that we would like to observe that 5 populated data points are placed in this order. Hello from the GridMon device. So that's good. What we've confirmed here is that the GridMon device is able to not only connect to a wireless network, but it's also able to reach a TCP endpoint and communicate its data across. For those of you that saw the live demo and the device was being a little bit camera shy, turns out I must have adjusted the current setting such that the power supply actually was not allowing the Wi-Fi module to draw enough current and go into full operation. When it's operating fully, we're pulling about roughly 3.1-ish or 0.31 amps. So nothing huge. I just had the current limit a little bit low, but for continuity's sake, we'll run it one more time just so that you can see the device working. So we're going to delete out that Excel sheet such that that's no longer there. We're going to turn off the device, and we're going to start over here. We're going to run the script one more time. We see that the server is active and ready for connections. Next, we are going to power on the device. We're going to see that the power LED is on, and we're receiving 4 blinks on the deployment LED, notifying that we're in the correct firmware case. And then we're waiting for that red deployment LED to flash on and then off. There it goes. As well as the terminal 2 notifying us that the data is received and the test is complete. We can run the ARP-A command again and see that our device with the same IP and physical address noted in the test sheet is there. And the GridMon Wi-Fi test.csv has been created again, which says hello from the GridMon device. Thank you.